Good morning, folks, and happy Saturday. It is going to be day 59 working down here at the ranch, and it will also be the first day probably since the first couple of days that I was down here that I will have my hand cannon on my hip. If you watched the video the last video I did, the game cam picked up a family of wild pigs not too far in the woods right back here. Now the neighbors are down the road shooting guns, so I'm hoping any wildlife might be going deeper into the woods. But yeah, I had kind of been warned since the first couple of days that I was down here that there definitely are wild pigs running around, and they don't seem to be very friendly critters if you run across them, at least from the stories I've had. Never had a personal encounter myself, but better safe than sorry. So just another something to keep an eye on. In the summertime, I'm normally got my eyes open for snakes and things like that, but I definitely don't want to get cornered by one of those pigs. I always said to myself, well, I could probably climb up a tree. Like, there's no branches on these trees. There's none of them low enough for my old self to get to anyway. So anyway, with all that being said, I'm probably going to let the trail cameras marinate again for another week, just to give them a little bit of time and just see if they're still out here running around. But today I'm going to start on this little corner over here. It's looks like it's going to be pretty easy right in here, but I got a couple of these trees that I need to it looks like this one is falling down or got pushed down or something, so I'm going to try to cut some of those branches up and get those out of the way, get this little area cleaned up, and then possibly start making my way. We'll just see where we're at, but start making my way over into that direction and trying to get that cleaned up. I talked to the guy that I bought this property from. He is out of town until next week, so next week he said he's going to give me a call. He's going to come out here. We're going to try to get a game plan put together for a driveway coming up into this area here, and possibly getting rid of a couple of these bigger trees that I need to get rid of. There are a couple that I can probably go ahead and take down and get out of the way in the meantime, so that might be something else I dive into today. I'm gonna definitely start over here. I want to get this wrapped up so we can start moving on to different things. But anyway, beautiful Saturday morning down here in South Mississippi, and we're gonna get done what we can get done. I think it's supposed to start raining later this afternoon and possibly rain all day tomorrow, so we'll see what we can get done. Hope everybody's weekend's going well. Day 59, here we go. So got a little bit of this cleaned up in here. Got most of them little shaggy branches and half dead trees out of there. Kind of clipped them up high enough that they won't really be in the way. I feel like I'm gonna leave most of this because it's right there on my border line. I feel like I want some sort of a little bit of a barrier. I may eventually push the brush hog in through there, get a little bit of that clip, but it's kind of like there's my border and then there's my border. So I don't know that that's exactly a straight line by any means, but I'm just going to be careful over here. But I am going to get in over here. It's a bit of a mess, but I'm going to see how much of this I can kind of get cut up into smaller pieces. I may have to start me a new burn pile somewhere just to avoid getting that one really big again. But it's pretty dry out here. I thought about burning these piles off today, but it's windy and it's dry, so I don't want to mess with that. But it has warmed up. I had to get the old long sleeve shirt off. It was a little bit chilly this morning and windy, so I thought, well, I'll wear me a long sleeve shirt. That didn't last long. But I'm gonna take me a quick break real quick, and then we're gonna get in here and cut this into some smaller pieces and basically have this little section kind of wrapped up over here. Probably start moving down here into the direction that I'm really not looking forward to. But if I can get some of it done today, then maybe the next time I come out, I don't think I'll finish it in one day, but probably two. I can have that all cleaned up the way I want it. So a lot of vines, a lot of dead branches, a lot of stuff in there in the way, so it's going to take a minute. This should be fairly easy, I hope. Just get a couple of these branches cut down and out of the way. So here we go. Got this kind of cleaned up a little bit down here. I'm not sure if I'm hearing thunder. I feel like I'm hearing thunder, and it's getting really kind of dark over there. And I don't know if it's going to rain or not. South Mississippi is definitely known for its pop-up thunderstorms that come out of nowhere. So I think one of the main reasons I came down here today was just to get outside and touch some grass. I wanted to definitely get a little bit of work done, just in case it starts raining. I think I'm gonna go spend about 30 minutes at the elevated deer stand there. Kind of take in nature a little bit. So we're gonna head up there. I'll meet you up there in just a minute. Here we go. This bottom half is definitely looking pretty good compared to what it was looking like a few months back. I feel like a couple more days worth of work. I may end up getting some more done today. We'll see what happens, but this little area is starting to clean up nicely. Just about got it done. Yeah, it's definitely getting a little dark over there. I haven't heard any thunder for a minute. I'm not even sure if I was hearing thunder. It just kind of sounded like it. And it was getting pretty dark over there. But anyway, I've been just kind of sitting up here for a few minutes, taking in the peace and quiet, taking in the scenery. You know, I do my best to stay away from politics and, you know, the stuff that's going on in the world as much as I can. It's, you know, I come out here and I do these videos and stuff to kind of give us all a break from reality a little bit. But there's a lot of weird, spooky stuff going on in the world right now, and unless you're living in a cave, which sometimes I wish I was living in a cave and didn't hear about all this stuff that's going on in the world by people who basically rule the world, own everything in the world. And it's scary. It's kind of disheartening to realize we're in 2025 and people are still as barbaric as they are in certain ways. And I was kind of when I was younger, early 20s, just got my, you know, just turned 21. I like to go to the bars and stuff, and I'll make this a short story, but I'd kind of made friends with this group of people that we played pool with all the time, and I got invited over to the after party at this big house. I wouldn't call it a mansion, but it was a really big house. I remember almost as soon as I walked in the door, I just got this, like, almost, you know, hair standing up on the back of my neck, like something didn't quite seem right. And anyway, they had this kind of rope. They had this rope that was roping off the upstairs to keep people from going upstairs, and I kind of thought that was a little odd. I don't know. Anyway, you know, I only hung around for a little bit, and I kind of decided I needed to leave. Something just didn't really feel right. And so a couple of weeks later, my buddy and I go back up to the bar, and I don't really know how to say this without maybe getting in trouble on YouTube, but I'd come to find out that they were kind of luring girls back to that house, and things were happening. And I think I was probably 23, 24 years old, and that, I'm not saying that's the last time I've been to a bar, but it was when I really just grew out of the whole bar scene. I kind of grew out of all that stuff. It just seemed like nothing good ever happened at the bar. And don't get me wrong, I like to go have a drink every now and then, watch a football game or something, but I've had that same feeling these last few days with all this stuff that's coming out in the news. And look, I've been down a lot of rabbit holes on YouTube in my day. When I first moved to Mississippi, I basically had a computer and a refrigerator, and that was about it. So I spent a lot of time on YouTube going into deep rabbit holes that a lot of them I wish I never went down. But then as time goes on, you kind of start to realize that some of that stuff is absolutely real. And it's terrifying. It's terrifying how real it is. Something is really off about what's going on in this world right now. And I hear a lot of people are angry about it, and I'm angry about it. I'm disgusted by it. And a lot of people, I think the next question that you hear, well, what do we do about it? An answer that keeps coming to my mind is something that we have to realize, is that when we go out to the movie theaters, buy certain things at certain stores, like we're feeding that money. We're feeding them income to be able to do stuff like this. I think if we're going to make a change, there's a couple options. The more peaceful option is find you a piece of land. Find you somewhere that you can learn how to grow food, hunt food, have your own fires, build your own little shelters and cabins. Because until we're ready to go back to the woods Everything we do, every tank of gas we fill, every grocery cart we fill, every time we go buy something on the internet or at the Walmarts or anything like that, most all of this stuff that we go and buy it's all owned by the same people. They're all connected somehow or another. And I know that's a vague way to say it, but there are definitely charts out there that show you, here's this, and they own this, and they own that, and they own this, and it seems to me like they say there's no such, you know, there shouldn't be monopolies, but I feel like they found ways around that. I think for me, it's why it's so important to get down here, get this place going, get set up down here, and it's gonna take time. I mean, if I really had to guess, it's probably gonna be a year before I could even start thinking about actually living down here. But we have the ability to make changes, folks. We've got to not be scared to go out in the woods and start taking care of ourselves and stop filling these people's pockets with money that seems to be going towards very devious things that I don't want any part of. I don't normally go on a rant like that, I'm sorry, but it's just been weighing on my mind. Like I said, these last few days I've had that hair on the back of my neck sticking up, and you know, whether or not you believe in God or if you're a religious person or not, just know there's absolute evil going on in this world right now, and we've got to figure out how to turn the page. We've got to figure out how to be less reliant on all the modern commodities and all the modern fancy stuff. And you know, Hollywood movies, we've all known for a long time Hollywood's creepy, but we support them. We support them by going to the movie theaters. We support them by buying DVDs. We support them by going and doing Paramount Plus and Netflix and stuff like that. So this is how we start to chip away. I was born and raised in America, and I've always been pro-American, but boy, there's a lot of shit coming out right now that's making me think we've got a lot of problems right here in America. Not to mention the world. There's a lot of problems going on in the world too, but end of rant. I am going to sit out here for a half an hour or so. Enjoy the peace and quiet, enjoy the woods. It'd be nice if I saw a couple animals show up. You can really see the camp now that all the leaves and stuff are falling off of the trees. But every time I come out here, I get excited about the next step and the next project, in the hopes that within these next couple of months I can really start making some progress to eventually be down here growing my own food, doing some hunting. The pigs that showed up, Shane said it best, like, it's a whole lot of bacon running around out there. Shane and Jamie up there, a couple other people that follow me and I follow back, like, they're growing their own food. They're trying to be less reliant on grocery stores and the modern commodities. And as hard as it's going to be for a lot of people to move backwards, I think in order to move forwards, we got to move backwards. I may end up doing a little bit more work out here today, folks. I really haven't decided yet. I am going to relax for about 20 minutes and then decide. So if this is it, I appreciate you watching, appreciate you tuning in for day 59. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. We may see you here in a few. We'll see what happens. Here we go.